Welcome everyone, welcome to a new video. This is Zach from Genesis Algo. We're going over how to create and deploy a strategy using our software. We're going over the logic and basically how you create agent tables, like the whole process. I'm going to try and cover that in this video. So bear with me, and if you have any questions regarding this video or regarding the steps that we go through, please feel free to ask them in the chat or below the video. So let's just get started. The first thing we want to do is look at our chart first of all. We're getting, consolidating and setting up for a breakout. I think we're first going to have a fake out before we go lower with the whole market. So that's just a side note, right? Let's just get into how do we create an algorithm. So as you guys know, we have the HPH Super Keltner. So what it uses is the super trend and the Keltner's channels, and these are both built into TradingView. So that's a funny little trick we can start doing in a second. I chose the time frame that I wanted to use very randomly, but I want it to be above 3 or 4 minutes because we need some time to stop the old strategy, close position and stuff like that. The software is not as fast as I would like it to be, so that we can use the lower time frames. So try to go above 4 minutes, and I picked the 12 minutes as a time frame. The next thing I wanted to show you guys is how you can start backtesting on the best possible settings. So we can see I went into the indicator and I typed in super trend. So that's the first one we want to start backtesting, and you can see this one right here, super trend strategy with this logo. That means that it's pre-built, it's a pre-built strategy in TradingView. So you can click it and then you'll get something like this with the default settings, which are 10 and 3 for the super trend. And these settings you can also find back in our indicator. Right, you have them right here, and as you can see, I've set them already to 11 and 6. Why? Because before this I tried to record and I forgot to press the record button, but I just went over some random settings, and then I found out that when you set them to 11.6 approximately, you'll get to somewhat more of a profitable strategy. Right, so you get 4.7% profits instead of the 1.3 that it starts with default settings at the 12-minute time frame. Right, so I thought, okay, why not go with 11.6 for our super trend. Right, I couldn't find much better strategies, and I just did some random looking. Right, I just want a small improvement for the super trend. And the next thing we want to do is look at the Keltner's channel. So same thing, we want to go to indicators, type in Keltner's, and then you get the Keltner channel strategy. Again, pre-built into TradingView. You want to pick that one, you get something like this. And for this one, the default settings are 20 and 2, and it was already profitable. So I thought, hey, let's not do anything there. Let's keep the Keltner's channels as they are. And then we went into our own indicator, again on the 12-minute time frame, randomly chosen. Has to be above 4 because that's just best for our software. Then you can see Keltner's channels 20 and 1. We want to have 20 and 2. Let's just do a quick backtest actually on 20 and 1, because if the performances are any better, just stick to those. So 20 and 1, 1.80. No, we want to go with 20 and 2. Right, so we set those to 20 and 2, and then we want to have these to 11 and 6 from the super trend backtest strategy that we did. Backtested 12 minutes and found out that was the setting. So 11 and 6 we want to go for. We'll get to this later. These are the messages that we take from webhook to start and stop the right tables. We'll get into that. So now we have our strategy right here on the 12 minutes, which we have changed and modified the settings a little bit. Let's just do a quick comparison and see if it's actually any better. And here we want to 12 minutes as well. Just change these settings, 20 and 1 and 10 and 3. Okay, so for example, the last signal, just quickly check this. Right, I think think I'm going to keep this to 1 because I did the backtest on 1 before, so I'm going to keep it to 1 because then we get the add signal here, and that's what I really like compared comparing it to the default settings. We have a sell at the lows, buy at the top, and in this one we have the buy and then the add alert. Right, so we have an add alert here. You can see that the same one is printed here. A sell alert at the low, while in this one we actually get the sell alert here, and then we don't flip long here, which is great because we can add to our position here to take a dump here. So this has just less signals, but that way we can work the trend a little bit more. Okay, we have more time to basically trade the signal. So here for the short, this one takes it a little bit earlier, but also takes profit earlier compared to this one where you take a bigger move. So that's fine. So I think we're gonna go with that. Okay, so this one, let's just double check if we still have the same one. Here. Yes, we do. Alright, so we picked our indicator, we did some quick backtests to find the optimal settings for our time frame, and the next thing we want to do is go over the logic, which signals we have and what actions we want to perform upon those. Okay, so I made a quick mind map based on an idea that one of the users gave me, and it quickly shows what we want to do, and this will help us to set up the webhook messages. Okay, so these tabs below say buy, sell, buy, take profit, sell, take profit, buy at, and sell at. Those are all the 6 signals that we get from our indicator. And based on those and based on the current position that we're holding while we are trading, right? We might be in a long position, we might be in a short position, or we might be in no position. Okay, red is for short, green is for long, and white is for no. And based on those and the signal, we want to activate and deactivate or close position on certain tables. Okay, so it becomes a pretty extensive mind map, but it's pretty simple actually. Because how we will do this is when we receive a buy alert, we want to activate the buy table, of course, and we want to deactivate anything with a sell. So sell, sell take profit, and sell at. Okay, close positions, we set them to true. Okay, so we call the buy and the sell, we call them trend reversals. Why? Because when you go into a sell signal after you had a buy signal, you'll probably still have accumulated a long position. So when you receive this reversal signal, you want to close anything that you had open back then. Okay, so that's the logic behind it. So the buy as well, when you have the sell position right here, you're getting into a buy, you want to close your old sell position. Okay, so that's why we have the close positions all to true. And then for the sell, we do the same thing. And by the way, we do this regardless of the direction of the position. Okay, so same thing 3 times. Sell, we do the same thing, but we want to activate the sell and deactivate anything that has to do with a buy. So the buy at, buy TP, and buy alert, we want to deactivate them and do that 3 times with the close positions all set to true. Okay, buy take profit, we want to activate the buy take profit and deactivate the buy at. Okay, because when you're taking profit, you don't want to be adding at the same time. That doesn't make sense, right? You're either taking profit on your position that you have open, or you're adding to a position. And this we do also 3 times. Okay, so whenever you get a take profit signal, you activate the take profit, deactivate and add. Same thing for the sell take profits. You activate the sell take profit, deactivate the sell add. Okay, do that 3 times. And then for the buy add, it's pretty much the same thing. You want to activate the buy add and deactivate the sell take profit. This is incorrect. So this should be deactivate the buy take profit, like this. Right, so from a little mistake here. That's good. So, like this. Okay, and no close positions on the add and TP signals. Let me see if I did it incorrectly here as well. So let's just correct that. Okay, so whenever we receive a sell add signal, we want to activate the sell add and deactivate the sell take profit. Activate activate the sell at, deactivate the sell take profit, activate the sell at, deactivate the sell take profit. Right, and that's our little logic that we will use in a second. But now the most hard thing is, how do we enter based on these signals? What do we exactly do? It's easy to say you just buy 10,000 contracts, but that's a waste of our signal, because we get this buy signal, but then we get an add signal. So we could average down this little move right here, and then our average would be here, and we would be in profits right now from the signal. If we would just take the candle close on this signal, which might be right here when we're taking it, then would you even be in a profit if you take a market entry? I don't think so, and this is even lucky that we get here. Right? So then on other signals you would be losing a lot of money. So we just need to fine-tune our system so that it takes everything out of each signal. Okay, and now in this video we're going to start off simple and easy, because we don't want to overdo it right away. Then I'm sure you guys won't follow along. So we're going to start easy, and we're going to start adding a TRS here. Okay, so the true relative strength. Why do we add this? Well, we know that all of our agents have this implemented in them, right? So they have the TRS built into them, so we can basically use that besides the signal to help our agents to enter. Okay, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller. We're going to double click the settings here, so the settings tab, and then you want to set it to the 1 minute, because the agents have the TRS for the 1 minute implemented into them. Okay, let's remove this other TRS and do this one more time, or actually twice. Okay, so we have 3 TRSs here, and one of them I've set it to the 1 minute already. The other 2 I have to set them to the 1 minute as well. Okay, let me do that quickly here. Okay, the top one is default. The second one I'm going to put it to the let's do a little bit of a lower time frame. Or a lower period. Okay, so I'm going to change both of these settings to 8, and maybe here 4. Okay, I'm just trying to show you guys an example of what I'm trying to achieve here. So what these what this TRS oscillator will help us do is basically see the waves within certain candles, right? Because it's a lower time frame. Let's say I put this one here on the 2. Let's actually do that with the top one. I put this one on 2. And I change this one to, let's say, 38. Okay, it will show us different waves. Okay, so you can see that the top one is kind of peaking out right here, while the middle one is in the middle, while this one is topping. Okay, so this basically tells us that on a period of 38 candles, okay, so on a look back period of 38 candles, this move right up here isn't big relatively. But on a candle count of 2 prior candles, this move right here is substantial. Okay? And now we can use this for the type of agents that we want to enter, because if we know that it's actually a small move on a bigger picture, but it's a big move on a smaller picture, we can kind of know the amounts that we want to use for that particular move. Okay, and in the same way we can wait for it to bottom out before we look for any take profits. And that's what we will start building into the agents. So we know we need 6 different strategies according to our little template that we created. We have a buy signal, sell signal, take profit, buy take profit, sell take profit, buy at, and sell at. So we have 6 different signals. So we want to start with the first one, which is the buy signal. And the first two, so the buy and the sell, we call them the trend signals. So that's the trend, and you want to stick with that signal until the reversal comes up. So you want to stick with the sell until the buy comes up, or and the other way around. The reason being is you want to capture the bigger moves in the market. So for example, in this scenario, you want to stick with the sell until the buy pops up, and if you reverse at the take profit, well, you miss half of the move, right? So you want to capture the bigger parts of the moves. Same here, same thing here. So that's the first thing we're going to cover for are the trend signals. So the first one is the buy signal. You just take out the settings from any other random agent table. So let me just grab the first pair of settings so that we know what we are going to have to work with. And it looks something like this. And I can see we need to zoom out a little bit in order to get everything in the screen. So here, this should work hopefully for you guys as well. It might be a little small, but yeah, these are the agent settings, and we want to just go over them one by one, or not one by one, but we want to create a template, and I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. The first thing we noticed, guys, is this basically wave thing, right? So we know that the bigger wave on the 38 tops out. If we zoom out around 60-ish, you have a good top to capture. Okay, so if we put a horizontal line around 60, let's say 65, right, and we zoom in onto the chart, we can see that if we have a sell signal and we are at 65, it's a good time to sell. And then here as well, we have a sell, good time to sell. We have all these ads also reaching the 65. Then we have this point, also a good time to sell. So on average, it's a good time to sell. While on the contrary, if you look at the wave on a lower tick, so for example, this on the 2, you can see that there is tons of situations where it reaches a top. For example, let me try to find one. Yeah, it tops out on relatively small moves. So for example, here as well. So these waves are just very small, and we need to kind of implement that into our strategy on how we're going to work with them with different waves. So let's just first of all choose some waves. So I like the 35 and shorting the 60 level, 65 level, and let's do the same for the buying. Let's say that I think around 39.5. Okay, so the buying around 39.5. So let's color that green. And let's choose a lower period as well, and I think the 2 is maybe a little low, but let's just stick to that for now. And we're going to say that I kind of like the 80, so we go with the 80-20 here. So below 20 is a buy, and above 20 is a sell. And then we have to go with the third one, and let's just go with 14, which is the default, or maybe a little bit lower. Let's go with 11. Okay, so we have 11, 38, and 2. Okay, let's have a quick look what we can do with the 11. That will add to the 2 and 38, and of course it's in between the 2. So that's what we're going to look for. Okay, so I'll come up with that in a second, because it's you guys will need to see the context of the things that I will do in a second. So let's have a look here. Yep, I think this is good enough for us to work with. So let's go back to our empty chart with only the settings for the agents. And here I'll take 3 agents that I think are going to be our basis for this. And let me just find them. Which strategy could I use for this? Okay, I think it would be something like this, and don't let's just quickly remove the names because we're going to come up with that ourselves, and just the basics of some getting some settings filled in for us, and now we're going to change them. So we know we have 3 waves, and let's just put the offset. So guys, let's start with the first setting. It's the offset, and an offset is basically how far from the price do you want to start bidding or selling in or asking in the order book. So how far away from the price would you start your order? Okay, so we're going to come to that right now. We're going to set that to 0.5. So these are going to be our triggers. So I'm going to call them trigger 1, trigger 2, trigger 3. And these agents are basically going to show me where the top is. So currently the buys allowed is set to true. I'm going to change that around. Oh. So I'm going to set buys allowed to false and then sells allowed to true. So let's start off with, oh no, that was actually good because our plan was to start with the buy alert. So we're going to quickly call this buy, and that's fine. Prevent entries, true. Prevent exits, true. That's fine as well. Okay, we said that our first wave was 38, second wave was 11, and our third wave, those are the wrong settings. Meant to do it here. First wave was 38, second wave was 11, and the third wave was on a period of 2. So these were the periods that we used for the TRS, and we implement them into the RSI period, which is actually the TRS, but we just, for simplicity, call it the RSI period. And now I know, now these agents know which wave to look at. So the 38, 11, and 2. And we said that the 38 tops at 65, so it's overbought, RSI overbought at 65. And this one was at 80. And this one was also at 80. Was this at 80? Let's quickly have a look. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. Let's just actually change this to 24. Or 21. Let's do 21. So I'm going to change that wavelength a little bit higher and put the signals also a little bit higher. Okay, so when we have a buy alert, it would buy. Yep, we're going to do 60-40 on that. So. We change this one to 21. We're going to do it at, let's do 70-30 actually. Okay, so we have a very short wavelength. We have a mid-long and a long one. And these are the first 3 triggers that we have, trigger 3. And we're going to create strategies based on those, but first of all, we're going to also create some dollar cost averaging entries. So let's do that. Okay, so I just copied over some dollar cost average agents, so that there's steps of like I don't know, 5 and whatever. The offset is like 5, 10, 15, 45, 75. So there will be limit orders placed at these levels, and because the prevent entries are set to false, so they're not going to listen to the RSI. So these agents will be ignoring all of the RSI and period RSI wavelength and stuff like that. They will just place limit orders for you, and they have an exit target that's pre-programmed, so to say. Right, so they have a risk to reward of 5 or some even 100. So when price comes down $5, you'll buy $5 worth of and go for a $500 profit target. Okay, that might be a little bit too optimistic. So let's change that to maybe 5. Set everything to 5. Okay, So we're getting a 1 to 5 risk to reward on these. If we set a stop loss, we're not going to do that right now, but that's the idea behind it. Are these agents going to chase the price up or down? Let's not do that, because these are going to be our dollar cost average agents from the moment that the price that agents have been activated. So let's set the entry timeouts to 9,999 so that they will not follow the price up. Am I missing one? No, this is fine like this. Exit timeouts, let's also not set exit timeouts. Exit timeout is basically a time frame within which they have to be profitably closing the trade, otherwise they will break even on their trade if the timer runs out. So let's put that on false. So now basically we'll place 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 agents with a limit order. Let's also decide the amounts. Let's say they're gonna all be 10, 10, 20, 30, 50. Okay, and we're gonna add a couple of them below there. Okay, and we're going to increase the amounts and make the steps that we increase the amounts wider. This is a strategy that I do because volatility when we start breaking out increases, and when we break down also increases, which means that what you're looking for in price movements is whenever we have a range like this, the first moves are always small moves, but then actually when you get the breakout, it could even extend further, and the further we go, the downside even also becomes further, right? Because of the collapse. And so that's why when you set up your orders, you might want to have a tight range here with small orders, but then when you get lower, you want to have a bigger spread and bigger amounts within your order. And now I will show you guys another strategy that I like to use as well with the trailing limit orders. So let me show you. You just first create this. Right, let's do the last one, because this is about 1% away from price, and I think we want to cover a little bit more than 1% for this particular strategy. So 268. All right, so about 2% that we're going to cover, and let's say that we can do this right away. So we're just gonna follow up with the names here. And then we're picking out a level that we think, okay, if we reach there, we want to perform certain actions, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's first go back to the 3 triggers that we've created based on the TRS, right? These were our 3 little wavelengths, and this is our little dollar cost averaging amounts strategy, right? So maybe we want to increase the amount a little bit more when we come down. So 50, 80, 80, 130, 130, 210. Right? And what we want to do as well is, for some of these, because the move down is already that big, we want to do a little trailing entry. And a trailing entry means basically that if the price is crashing down, we don't enter. So it's not a limit order, it's a market order, because it waits for the price to reverse 1 tick, and that's where we enter. Okay? So let's set a trailing entry for some of these agents. So for example, for this one, I want to set a trailing entry of, let's say, $16 and a stop loss of, let's say, $58. And then, oh, this is a delay stop, sorry. Stop loss of $58 and a delay stop of 9,999. So it can only try this once, okay? And then it will go deactivate itself. And we're going to do that for the rest as well. So $12 trailing. Oh, these are the trailing take profits I need to fill in here. 16 and 12. So $16 trailing entry, $12 trailing entry, and then $20 trailing entry with a $58 stop loss. Okay, and then a 1.2 or a 0.5, 1.2 targets. Okay, that means that, for example, for the 322, if price comes down $322, we're going to aim for a move back up of at least half of that move. So basically, if you pull the fib from where we started down to the bottom, we'll basically sell at the 0.5 fib. Okay, so if let me just draw that out here. So if the price comes down and we started the bot here and the price comes down to this $322 below our entry, so this is a starting point, this is $322 below that, and we start taking up for $16 or something, or whatever the trailing entry is, that's when we will do our buying. We'll place our stop loss $58 below it, and then our target is half of this move because we had a 0.5 exit target. Okay, and when I have a 1.2, that means that we'll try to sell the liquidity area, so 1.2. Right, so those are the exit multipliers. It's basically a factor for your offset. How much does price drop? Okay, how much of that do you think we're gonna return, retrace? Okay, so the delay stop, I'm gonna also use that for all three of them. That means that if they get stopped out for $58, do you want them to try again? We could, but I just want to show you guys that you could also say like, okay, after one stop loss, let's not do it again. And maybe this is even smarter for me to do as a delay profit. Okay, so when we made the profits, let's not do it again. But when we get stopped out, let's try it again, because after we get stopped out for $58, the price would have to drop another $200 to $300, maybe even $400, and reverse $20 to $12. So that's a pretty good trade if it happens anyway. So let's just keep that in there. So now we have some pretty cool dollar cost averaging happening right upon receiving the signal, and we have these three random agents selling $1, $2, $3 based on the TRS. So what do you actually want to do with that? Okay, so now we're going into some little bit more of complex strategy within our algorithms, and that's basically the parent to children. So yeah, it has different names, but I will just explain you what it helps us with. So we have the trigger 1 based on the highest RSI period. So we just copy him over and put a .1 behind his name. The .1 basically will mean that only if this particular agent has entered a trade, then this one will be activated, this .1, which is a child. Okay, so this is the parent. We're going to quickly give it a background color of blue, and this is his child, and we're going to give him a light blue color. Okay, so we're going to create children for this parent, and this parent, his task is to buy whenever the RSI comes, the TRS comes below 41 on a period of 38. So that's this bigger wave. So let's zoom back into the chart here, and we can see the 38. Let me get out of the pen tool because I love drawing lines, as you guys can see. And the 38 is basically the middle one. So let us make it a little bit bigger. And what we're saying is that anytime we're below this green line, it's a buy signal for us. Okay, and we used a trailing entry here as well. So just like for the trailing entries we used for the bigger offsets, a trailing entry means the price has to start going in your direction. So only going below 41 isn't enough. The price has to actually start going back up, and that's when this agent will start buying $1 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so what we want to do actually here is the trailing entry. For the other ones, we want to decrease them, because this is the biggest wave we have. So it makes sense that the trailing entry for the biggest wave is the biggest, right? And now we want to place some stop losses, let's say $70 above our price. Oh, not for these, only for the bigger wave. And a delay on stop of 16 minutes. Okay, so just in case that price just wants to move up a lot, we will get stopped out, and 16 minutes later we'll look for for another bottom as well again. So for example, in this particular scenario, let's say we get another low before we actually go up, then we have 16 minutes of being timed out, and then we can get into this signal again. Okay, so maybe it's a little bit too low, the timeout of 25, or did I have it to delay on stop? 16 is maybe a little bit too low for a 12-minute time frame, so let's do 32, or let's do 2 candles. No, 3 candles. We're gonna go with 3 candles. All right, so what do we want to happen as soon as we bought this low? What do we want the agents to do? And remember, guys, this is a buy alert, so we can be a little bit aggressive with it. And so we're going to create some agents that will chase the price up and to make a lot of small buys. Okay, so I'm going to find some of those right now. Let me have a look. Okay, so could do something like this, right? We over 0.5% approximately, so over $100. We're going to chase the price up with very small entry timeouts. Let me see if I have those correct. Yeah. So we're going to chase the price up every 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. So every X amount of minutes, we will start looking at the price, and if the price change, these agents will start following the price up or down with their orders. Okay, they will look at the very low wave. So let's put one of our old waves here. So for example, the wave of 2, and only if that wave is above 80, or below 20, they will start entering and exiting. So that means that these agents will only, when the period of 2, maybe actually let's take the 11 here, that would be nice, 11. So we're going to set those to the wave of 11, and we're going to set them to 60-40. Okay, and this is just to help your entries not be as random as they could have been if you're just dollar cost averaging randomly, right? This way you're just making sure that you're not buying the top of a certain wave. Okay, and then you can still use your dollar cost averaging to get a good, nice entry on that wave, even if it goes a little bit higher than you thought. And besides that, we have all of the signals to navigate us on what we should be expecting. Okay, so that's that, and I don't think these will need any delay stops. Should be fine. So now we created some little chasing orders for the wavelength of the 38. We're going to do the same thing for the wavelength of the 21, which will buy below 30. So here we want to copy over this one. Oh, let's first finish this actually. So by just dragging them down, these names will be trigger 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. That means that all of these will not hit the market unless this particular agent has entered a trade, and he will only enter a trade when the RSI period of 38 goes below 41, and then the price goes up $22 and doesn't go back down with $70. If we get stop lossed, all of these agents will go back to sleep, basically, right? So all of these agents are tied to this one trigger agent that we have created. Now let's create a second trigger agent, and we're going to give him the orange color, and he's on the lower wavelength of 21. Okay, so we can have a smaller offset maybe, and smaller amounts as well, right? So that's how we're going to adjust to that. Let me find some agents for this quickly. Maybe I can just use some of these. Actually, that's a good idea. We're just gonna take a portion of these agents right here, and we're gonna paste them here and just slightly change these amounts over: 11, 21, 36, 49, 49, 54. Okay, and let's look for a profit factor of 5. Prevent entries can stay true, but then let's choose a different period. No, let's stick with the 11 period below 40. That's fine. And all we have to do is make them the children of this orange one right here. We did that by putting a point and a 1 behind it, and now we can color them. Let's do a little bit light orange and drag them down. Right, so now we have children for trigger 2 as well. Okay, and let's actually do something fun here. We're going to tell these agents that they do not look at their RSI to enter, but only to exit, and then we're going to set their exits based on the 38 wavelength. Okay, let me quickly show you guys what I mean with that. That means that if I'm bullish, I'm okay with entering on a 21. So this is the 21 period. You can see I filled in 21 here. So this is the lower one is the 21 wavelength. I'm okay with entering fast here, but then I have to wait until the 38 goes high above 65. So I'm entering on a lower wavelength very early because I'm bullish, but I'm waiting for that big overbought moment because I'm bullish. I want to see a big move up before I exit. Okay, so that's a strategy you can use by basically allowing entries to be made anywhere and allowing exits to only be made on a bigger time frame or a bigger wavelength. So let's go back, and we have that to false. We have the prevent exits to true. So all of these agents are only going to look for their exit to the TRS. And if they're entering below 40, that means they should be exiting above 60 on a wavelength of 38. That looks pretty nice to me. And that's the second trigger. And now this third trigger, I'm going to copy over these. Okay. First of all, I need this actually, and I want to make it a child of this trigger, and then I want to take, let's say, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna make those a little bit wide dollar cost averaging strategy. So I'm gonna just copy that part over and make that a child of this. Right, so now I have a little entry strategy with take profits all in mind, and yeah, I think that's the start of your strategy. Now you might want to add, for example, we call this one, what do we call him? We're going to add some agent and we're going to call him entry agent. Okay, and all he does is enters and he doesn't exit with 100 contracts and follows the price up with all of this set to false, ignores this, and the trailing entry of 0.5. Let's just do 25 contracts. Okay, so just to get everything going, you start by entering $25 upon receiving any signal. That's basically what you're doing here. And then the rest is all to make the position nicer and better. Okay. So we started off with a 25, let's do $33 position. And now we have finished our buy alert, guys, and this is really important because this is actually 90% of the job done. Okay, so it took a little while, but hey, 90% of the job done. Let's get into it and just basically flip this into a sell alert quickly. And we can just do that by copying everything over, creating a new spreadsheet here. Okay, so you just want to paste in the buy alert that we have already created. You want to paste it in here. So now we have all this. The only thing we'll have to do is, or not the only thing, one of the only things we'll have to do is basically reverse these two. So now you want to set the buys allowed to false and the sells allowed to true, because this is going to be the sell alert. Okay, so we quickly want to do that. So false, copy it over to the true side. And now we need true and copy that over to the false side. Okay, so now we flip those over. Is there anything more we want to do? Yes, we do. We want to change the names because you cannot have the same names running in the bot, so they will need to have something modified. So we'll just put an S before all the agent names. Okay, S before that, put an S before that, and you could also do Control F and try to do it automated way, but I'm fine with quickly going over this, and I will speed the process up for you guys. So, or maybe not, I think, because I'm not the greatest editor, so you might have to just bear with me for a second. Because of the coloring, I can do some shortcuts that I normally do, although I'm not much of a shortcut guy anyway. Just going through the process. There we go. But it definitely takes a lot less time than making your initial strategy up. And there we go. Okay, so now we reversed our buy strategy to a sell strategy. We already have these pretty much set up correctly. Might want to have some slight changes to the TRS to make them make sense to how we're approaching this, but it's fine for now. I think this is going to do okay. And now we want to start going over to our, let's see, what was the next in line? So we had a buy, sell, buy, take profit, sell, take profit, then the buy ads and sell ads. All right, so the buy, take profit. So on a buy take profit, you actually want to do some selling. That's all you want to do. Because you bought some, you want to sell some. Now, first thing you want to actually know is how much am I actually buying if everything goes right. So you want to have an indication of your total buying amount. So it's sum of 1,679 contracts. Okay, so I think we're going to dedicate about 20% to that. Of that to our take profit, right? So is this times maybe no, give us our spreadsheet back, guys. I hope it gives us our spreadsheet back. And does it, or does it destroy everything? No, it's here. Okay, great. Let me put a comma instead. It should solve everything. There we go, 335 contracts. So that's approximately what we have available for our take profit signal. Okay, so that's so we know, and we already have some little dollar cost averaging agents here. So we want to copy those over. Why not? By the way, these all have a stop loss. I'm not sure if I was intending to do it that way, so I think I'm gonna remove the stop losses here. There we go. Only for these big ones it makes sense with the trailing entries, but this is fine like this as dollar cost averaging. And for sell, we probably need to do the same thing. And now we wanted some dollar cost averaging to happen on the take profit. Okay, so because it's a buy take profit, we want to be selling, right? So let's take the agent settings as top row. There we go. So because it's a buy take profit, we want to be selling contracts and not more than 300 and something. So I think we're already nearly there. Is 200, so we have a little more to spend here on take profits. And the exit multipliers, I think would be wise if we take those very big, because we're taking profit. We don't really want to make a scalp here. So 150, it's fine. 20, right. Okay, prevent entries. Let's put that to true because RSI has to be above 60 on a wavelength of 21 for us to take profit. That makes a lot of sense, so we're going to stick to that. We're going to do the entry timeouts. Okay, so we're not going to follow the price up or down. Our take profit level is our take profit level, and we're going to stick to that and just try to take some profit there. Now, what if the price actually makes a huge move, right? Don't you want to take profit there? And this is just the first take profit, so we're going to put some orders at higher levels as well. So I take profit at 1%. 2%, and 3%. Let's just do it like that, just for simplicity. And let's put all of the RSI to ignore. So these are just going to be limit orders to take profit for $80 per order. Even do like 100, 150, 250. So you might end up even short, but that's 3% above the price where you entered. So that seems like not too bad of an idea. Do you want to any stop losses? Well, let's not go into that for now, and let's just give these a name. So we'll call them buy TP1. Okay, so 9 agents in total, around 20% of our entry. And, that's that. And again, we want to copy them over because most likely we'll get into the sell take profit. And so we're at sell take profit as the name. And we just want to change the names here first. Actually do it a little bit simpler this time and buy TP. Okay, so now the names are changed and we just want to reverse these little thingies here. So don't sell, but only buy. So if we're taking profit on a sell position, we want to be buying back contracts, right? So that's why buys is allowed and sells is set to false for take profits. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to create the ad alerts. So starting with the buy ad And when you add to your trade, what do? You buy more of it, right? So buy at is basically a signal to buy more contracts. And how we can quickly do that is just use the sell take profit, which is just buying pretty much. We can use this as our buy at alert. Okay, so our sell take profit could be our buy at alert. So this is the way I did that. And we just call this buy at 1 and just drag them over. Right, and then the next one is the sell at. We just want to quickly create a new table, call it, give it the name sell at. Right here, sell at. And again, I don't know if I already copied it. Let's do it again and take them over. Oh no, we need basically the buy take profits here, because those are going to be selling for us. So buy take profit in the sell at, paste it in, and call them sell at 1, drag it down. There we go, guys. We created 6 strategies based on the 6 signals that are available in the bot. We picked our indicator that we want to use, and now basically we want to start setting up the bot to trade for us. Right, so we have our add alerts, buy at, sell at. This is a sell at, take profit for the sell, add for the sell. We have all of that in here. You have the logic right here, and the last remaining part is to basically set that all up in the bot with the indicator and start deploying it live. I'm going to go ahead and download all of the tables that we have created so far. So the buy alert, the sell alert, and download them as CSV files. Go 6 of them. Alright, so I've downloaded all 6 of them. Let me open the downloads folder, and you can see they should be right here. Right, and then I want to copy them over to my bot. Let me find the right version. Right, so you want to go over to your bot in the active tables folder, delete the old ones, and all 6 of these, copy and paste. And as I announced, there is a small bug with having buy repeated in the names for the webhooks. So what you want to do is actually give them a little bit different names. So the buy, we call it the long, the sell we call it the short, and then you have short add, short take profit, long add, long take profit. Okay, so we're just going to rename them in simple formats. So the buy is a long, buy add is a lead. There we go. And the buy take profit is LTP. Okay. And then the sell is a short. And then set is the last one. There we go, we have all of our tables in the bot. And we can go ahead and start the bot just to see if everything works correctly, if we have no duplicate agents or anything like that. So go ahead and click on Start Test Desktop. And of course, we also need to figure out our webhooks and how we will set those up. So we'll create all the webhook messages and implement them in our 12-minute strategy. Currently there is some other stuff in here, so we need to replace all of that as well. So let's wait for the bot to load. So when all the bots have loaded correctly, that means that the naming is correct, and you can start to test web interface. This is where we will have to create the webhook alerts that we'll have to paste into the indicator itself. So let's get that in front of us right now. And the first thing you do here is click the refresh data button until you see that all of the new tables have loaded up here in the names. So there we go. Now it seems correct. So you want to navigate all the way to the bottom, click on edit signals. First signal we want to do is the bool alert. So what did we want to do on the bool alert again? Well, we could have a quick look at our little map. Where is it? Must be one of these. So here on our little map, on the bool alert, we want to basically activate, buy, and deactivate anything to do with a sell, and then close position. Right, so we can quickly do that. On the bool alert, we want to activate the bool table, which is the long in this scenario, and then click the apply button here, and then deactivate anything to do with a short. So everything here, deactivate, and click the apply button. Button, and close position we had it to true, and then you can copy over the agent table and go to your strategy, open it up, and we can input it for the bool message. There we go. Get all the way back to the front. It's a long message, but let's just paste it in again just to make sure. Okay, anyway, let's go to the second message. User interface, refresh data. The second one is the sell alert. Right, and for that one, we want to activate the sell and deactivate anything to do with the buy-in. Okay, so we'll go to here. So for the sell alert, we wanted to where's the long? We want to deactivate anything to do with a long. Click this, and no action here. No action here. Oh, deactivate here, by the way. No, activate here, sorry, because this is the short signal, so activate here and deactivate here. Anything to do with a long, we have to deactivate it. So this one, deactivate it. Okay, so we have deactivate, deactivate, deactivate. So those are the three longs, and then we have no action, but activate on the short and no action here as well. Apply. Close positions are true on trend reversals, so apply those. And there we go, we have our second signal. Go back to here, put it into the sell alert, so the bear alert here. And there we go. Let's do the bool add alert now. So navigate back to the user interface, refresh data, scroll all the way down, and let's do the bool add alert. So long add, activate. Okay, and just like we had it right here, the bool add, we basically activate the bool add and deactivate the bull TP. Okay. So that's all we have to do right now. Activate long ad, apply, no action on the rest. Deactivate this one. Deactivate the long take profit. No action is correct. Okay, copy it over into the bull ad. Okay, let's do the bull TP right away after that. And that's just the other way around. So for the bull TP, you want to, let me have a quick look, buy TP. So you want to activate the buy TP and deactivate the buy ad. Okay, so scroll all the way to the bottom, activate the buy TP, so LTP activate, apply, and deactivate this one, apply, and the rest should be all correct and good to go. So copy current, and we can head over to here. Bull take profit is okay. We've already done the bear alert, so the next one is the bear ad alert and the bear take profits. So we're going to go back here. Let's start with the bear ad. What do we do on a bear ad? We activate the bear ad. So let's put these to no action just to make sure that nothing will go wrong. No action. And no action. Okay, and on a bear ad, that's the signal, right? A bear ad, yeah, a bear ad alert. So we activate the short ad and we deactivate the short take profit. That's all we do. The rest is already correct. And you have to click the buttons to apply it, then copy current again and head over to your chart. Refresh data and then reverse the process for the take profit. So activate the take profit and deactivate the ad. Click the apply buttons and you can copy current again. There we go. Oh, hope we didn't remove everything, but let's try. Okay, that looks good. So we have inputted all the settings, we have the tables in there. So all we need for this to start taking the first signal is to start our anchor connection, copy over the link, go back to your indicator, make sure that you have everything filled in like you wanted to, the time frame set up correctly, and then go to alerts and start creating your alerts based on the HPH. And you want to give it a name so you can see that it's this indicator. So we call it 12-minute alerts. And we want to input our webhook URL right here from Anchorhook. And so now we can start waiting for a signal. I might move this strategy to my laptop and have it running so we can look at how this will play out in the market. And if you're interested in tracking this with us, I'm in Discord with one of my accounts and live streaming the whole trade session, and we'll start improving based on this. This was just the first video to get you guys introduced to how you can do all of this maybe yourself if you're interested, and from here I will start improving the algorithms with more complex strategies. I think we already went into some pretty cool tricks, like for example with the wavelengths, where you can say that you have a trailing entry. Let's say for a long, when we come below 40, you enter when the price goes back $20. Then you have little minions basically chasing the price up. Strategies like that are going to be fun to use with an indicator like this. So yeah, be back with you with an update and improvements on this strategy. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.